Hi, I'm Tim Ervelina, deacon at the Red Door community of the Church of the Advocate in Asheville, North Carolina. Thanks for joining me today to reflect for a few minutes on the readings for the fifth Sunday in Lent 2020. They can be found online at episcopalchurch.org/lectionary/Lent-5A. We're going to focus today on the ancient holy words from the prophet Ezekiel and the Gospel of John. None of it makes any sense. Not the valley of dried bones, not that cave with the unembalmed body crawling with germs and stinking to high heaven. Not the tiny bit of primordial protein unloosed upon a world that only a few short weeks ago seemed so shiny, so new, so alive. In his dream, Ezekiel looks out over a valley and to his horror realizes that it's covered with skeletons. He's a prophet, so he gets these weird and terrifying dreams all the time. Usually when he awakes, he's told to go and say something that will deeply upset everyone who hears him. This time, the voice asks him, "Ezekiel, do you think these bones can live?" It's the kind of weird question he always hears in his dreams or in his head for no particular reason other than, well, he's a prophet, and that's how it is with prophets. He shrugs. He doesn't know, but he knows he's about to find out. "Prophesy to the bones," comes the voice. "Tell the bones to live." So Ezekiel tells the bones to live. And do you know what happens next? The wind begins to blow down the mountains through the valley of death. And those dead bones begin to rattle. And then they begin to move, and then they pop up like pansies on a warm spring morning, and they touch each other in a macabre dance of dirt and bone and wind. And just when Ezekiel thinks this dream could not be any scarier, the bones begin to grow sinews and tendons, organs and arteries, and they are covered with what appears to be human flesh. But they are still as lifeless as can be. Then comes that voice again. "Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live." One by one, as far as he can see, those dead bodies stand up, a vast army of people who were once dead and are now alive. Well, it's a pretty scary story, isn't it? In a desert valley filled with bones. It's the last place on earth you'd expect to see a resurrection. Ezekiel was probably holding his breath the same way everyone was that day when Jesus of Nazareth came to Bethany and ordered Lazarus' grave ripped open. And before anyone could say, "Stop, that's impossible," there's Lazarus standing there, blinking his eyes, looking as amazed at being alive as everyone else in Bethany was looking at him being alive. Right now we live in a very scary time where at any minute, any of us could get sick and die from a disease caused by something we had never heard of until a few weeks ago. Suddenly, the whole world seems to be in a desolate valley where the only sound you can hear is the wind, moaning through white bones, sticking out from the brown desert sand. COVID-19 has changed the world forever. We're learning that it doesn't really matter how much money you have, how nice your house is, how great your job is. One tiny droplet of virus-laden breath, and you can be brought down. And some people don't get back up. It's a lesson that our friends who live on the streets have known since the day they first lost everything. It didn't matter what they had before life on the streets. Now they have only their wits, the clothes they carry, and the hope they will have enough to eat today to get back up tomorrow. I've been doing a lot of reading about viruses over the past few weeks. They are one of the strangest things that science has ever discovered. Like Ezekiel's dream bones, after he first prophesies, they're not alive, but they're not dead either. In fact, they only come to life when they enter your body. And then, like some demon unleashed, they hijack your DNA and begin cranking out perfectly engineered and very deadly copies of themselves. In the case of COVID-19, in as little as a day, your body's built-in defense systems are beginning to fail. And without antiviral treatment, you can die. How then do we live in such a time as this, when a handshake or a hug can kill rather than comfort? When to be with the people that you love might mean endangering their very lives? Will we live now as people of hope? We don't know what the future holds, and we never really did. We only pretended to. But the not knowing does not mean we cannot live in hope. In fact, the not knowing means we must. We must live to care for those entrusted to us. We must live in this scariest of times without fear, as people who believe that dead bones really can live again. We must live knowing that tomorrow the sun will rise, like it has every morning since that old ball of gas and dust began spinning in the long ago darkness of space. We must live knowing that there is life. We must live knowing that there is life. We must live knowing that there was one who came in the name of love to tell us that even in death, there is life. We must hope. We must live in hope. Amen. And from the Red Door community at the Church of the Advocate, stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for joining us.